Hi, Coach Shawn here. Today I want to talk about the fallout from narcissistic divorce, same series I've been doing. Well, if you think divorce is the ending, you're about to be seriously blindsided. Because with a narcissistic, high conflict person, divorce isn't closure, it's a trigger. And the fallout after you leave, it can be more disorienting than the marriage itself. And if you're sitting there thinking, why am I the only one falling apart while they look fine? I'm going to explain exactly why. I'm not your attorney, and I'm not your therapist. I'm a coach who's lived it and studied it and coached people through it. And today I'm walking you through the stages of the fallout after leaving someone with narcissistic traits. Because if you don't understand the stages, you will think you are losing your mind. You're not. I wish someone had shared this with me. Here are the stages most people experience. 1, the shock stage. 2, the war stage. 3, the replace you stage. 4, the smear stage. 5, the weaponize the kids stage. 6, how dare you heal stage. And 7, the rebuild stage. So let's talk about it. Because this is the part nobody prepares you for. Stage 1, the shock stage. This is the moment divorce becomes real, whether you filed, they filed, or it was mutual. And what hits you first is not just grief, it's confusion. Because you're watching someone act oblivious, act righteous, and blame you like they didn't participate in the destruction at all. And that creates something that looks like cognitive impairment, but it's really trauma brain. Your nervous system is flooded. Your sleep is wrecked. Your appetite is off. Your focus disappears. Your memory gets patchy. You reread emails 10 times and you still can't absorb them. You're trying to process. Who is this person? How can they be so cold? How are they blaming me with a straight face? And you're also trying to make decisions in a legal process while your brain is basically screaming, danger, danger. So if you feel slow, foggy, forgetful, emotionally volatile, listen to me. That's not instability. That's your nervous system, a healthy nervous system, responding to chronic stress and psychological abuse. Stage 2, the war stage. Then comes the part where you realize there is no amicable divorce with a narcissistic, high conflict person. They don't do fair. They don't do decent. They don't do let's keep it peaceful for the kids. They do win, punish, dominate, control. If you were a stay-at-home woman, they're not coming in like a gentleman saying, I'll take care of you while you rebuild. No. They're coming in like, you're going to pay for leaving me. And if you're a woman and you work, he wants alimony. Watch how fast the narrative becomes, she's greedy, she's harassing me, she's dangerous. I need a restraining order. And men, if you're divorcing a narcissistic woman, you can suddenly be accused of things you never did. And that's terrifying because you're thinking like a normal person, surely the truth will matter. Nope. You'll be receiving a restraining order momentarily and being accused of all sorts of abuse. What you learn is they use the legal system emotionally. They file motions like tantrums. They delay like it's a sport. They refuse to cooperate like it's oxygen. And you're sitting there thinking, how can someone be this committed to chaos? Because the chaos is the point. Stage 3, the replace you stage. Now we enter the stage that breaks people's hearts in a very specific way. You're barely surviving, and they're already in love. They're dating fast, posting fast, traveling, smiling, selfies, my forever. And you're sitting there like, were we even married? Here's the truth. They didn't move on quickly because they're strong. They moved on quickly because they don't attach like normal people do. And a lot of the time, let's be honest, there was already cheating. They were already on dating apps. They were already friends with people that you were told not to worry about. There was already lying to your face. So it's not that they healed faster. It's that their next relationship is often an extension of the same pattern. Image management plus supply plus distraction. Meanwhile, you're doing what healthy people do. You're grieving. You're reflecting. You're trying to understand what happened so you don't repeat it. And watching them parade a new relationship while you're in emotional rehab, it's surreal. You start asking, do they realize people see this? Do they realize how it looks? And here's the wild part. When you get distance, you begin to realize people did see this. People didn't say it out loud, but they absolutely saw. Stage 4, the smear stage. Now, the smear campaign was going on when you were still with them. You just didn't know it, but it gets so much worse later. And it usually sounds like, I tried everything. I just couldn't take it anymore. They're unstable. They're abusive. They will never change. I had to protect myself. And here's what a lot of survivors don't understand at first. If you were abused long enough, you might have cried constantly, yelled, begged, panicked, drank too much, disassociated, had anxiety attacks, and said things in desperation you don't even recognize now. That doesn't make you the abuser. That makes you someone whose mind and body were pushed past the limit. Reactive behavior is real. Trauma responses are real. And narcissistic people love to point to your breakdown and say, see, that's who they are. No, that's who you became under pressure. And years later, you look back and see clearly while they're still telling the same tired story, and they have not changed because they need that story to protect their image. Stage 5, the kids become currency. Now, if you share children, this is where it gets truly evil. A healthy parent wants 2 parents for their child. They want their kids to love both parents. They understand co-parenting is about the child's health. A narcissistic parent doesn't think like that. They think, how can I turn them against their other parent? How can I punish my ex through my own children? And if you're sitting there shocked that they would harm their own kids emotionally, please. Remember, they harm their kids in the marriage by harming you. This isn't new, and it never stops. This is just louder. And the tragedy is, the healthier you get, the more the narcissistic person becomes more enamored to escalate because they can't have you looking okay. Stage 6. How dare you heal? This is the stage people don't talk about enough. When you start healing, it should calm down, right? Wrong. When you start getting stronger, gaining clarity, improving your finances, building a business, dating someone healthy, looking peaceful, thriving, they often double down. Because your healing threatens the narrative that you are the problem. And the more you become stable, successful, and grounded, the more their story makes them look ridiculous. They can't keep saying, she's a mess, while you're standing there functioning, building, growing. So what happens? They amplify. She's awful. He's dangerous. I'm the victim. They're obsessed with me. They want to take me down. They won't move on. Meanwhile, you're literally trying to rebuild your life. And if court doesn't go their way, if they lose emotion, if they settle last minute because their claim was bogus, if you enforce the decree and they get held accountable, that rage, it has to go somewhere. And they'll often throw it into the smear campaign. Stage 7, the rebuild stage. That's the part that really scares them. Now let's talk about the rebuild stage. I want you to fight for this stage. This is where you stop trying to get them to understand, because they won't. This is where you stop saying anything to them at all, because they will never understand fairness. This is where you start living like your future depends on it, because it does. Rebuild looks like clean boundaries, documentation, minimal emotional engagement, support systems, protecting your peace, healing your nervous system, learning the patterns so you never repeat them again. And eventually, something powerful happens. You stop watching them. You stop reacting to them. You stop needing the world to validate your story. And that's when you become dangerous to them. Not because you're attacking them, but because you're free. You just don't care anymore. And that's like a death to the narcissist. So if you're on the fallout right now and you feel shattered, I want you to hear me. This stage does not mean you made the wrong decision. This stage means you left a person who can't tolerate losing control. You're not behind, you're not weak, and you're not too emotional. You're detoxing from psychological chaos and you're rebuilding. If you want help with that, I have my Breaking the Trauma Bond guide linked in my bio. And if you feel as if you need guidance moving through the stages, you can book a one-on-one coaching session with me. Because I'm not just here to help you understand what happened. I'm here to help you send a clear message to the narcissist in your life. That message is, you can rewrite the story, but you will never rewrite the truth.